Join us next for Eyewitness News. Coming up, the fantastic finale to Liberty Weekend and what people at Giant Stadium thought of the show. Plus, the celebration tonight in Lower Manhattan, where crowds are still gathered. Apparently, they don't want the celebration to end.
And there's more. Tonight's sports salute at the Byrne Arena. The crush to visit the star of the show, the Statue of Liberty. And the view from above as Liberty Weekend winds down. It's all next on Eyewitness News.
Hello, how are you? Good, how are you?
6 years ago, Win T. Wah came to America with a cardboard suitcase and a dream. She learned a new language, new customs. She learned that here, hard work is recognized and rewarded. And she learned that in America, dreams can come true. So today, she took the day off to attend a reunion with the children she was forced to leave behind 6 years ago. At 7-Eleven, we think everyone should remember that America is a country built by immigrants. To the Wins, and to all the new Americans who've become part of our family, we say, welcome.
When you've got the hottest trucks in America, you don't need gimmicks. All you need is the hottest deal in America. And Nissan's got it. 5.7% annual percentage rate factory-sponsored financing on every Nissan hardbody truck. That's the lowest anywhere. 5.7%. You could save $829 on this hardbody regular bed and up to $1,980 on this King Cab 4x4. So talk to your participating Nissan dealer today. Who says you need gimmicks to sell a great truck? The name is Nissan.
It's Winter Kill tonight at midnight on Channel 7. This is Eyewitness News with John Marler, Rolanda Watts, plus Spencer Christian, Dr. Bill Gutch, and the Eyewitness News team with special coverage of the Liberty Weekend celebration.
Good evening. In honor of the Statue of Liberty, we have had 4 days of fun, sun, excitement, and spectacles, and tonight, the world's biggest birthday party has come to an end.
And if you saw it, you know it ended with quite a bang tonight at Giant Stadium. Joel Siegel was there for the finale. Joel, excuse me, what did you think?
Rolanda, as a great American Yogi Berra once said, it ain't over till it's over. And it's over. Only 90% of the seats were filled. Producer David Welper called this murder compared to the Olympics. He expects the festivities to lose money. I'm not sure that wasn't anticipated. The Statue of Liberty Foundation will make up the deficit. Wednesday, we interviewed him. I asked him if he were having fun. He said, with the president coming tomorrow, the statue not finished, 10,000 actors in rehearsal, the set's not done. No, I'm not having fun. I saw him tonight before the show. He told me, this is fun, and he was right. This was a great show. It was the world's greatest halftime show. A halftime show so great, they didn't need the football game. A 500-piece marching band. An 850-member drill team. And a guy who flies. It was a really big show. Ed Sullivan would have sold Topo Gigio sold a book. 3 Pointer Sisters, 4 Tops, 5 Temptations, 250 tap dancers, and never before in this hemisphere the Parisian Republican Guards. It was Hollywood, California. It was New York, New York. And it was all those other places in between. Yes, there were balloons, 300,000 of them. It was a birthday party, after all, the Statue of Liberty.
You don't do things like this for the fee. This is a very special moment in American history and in my musical career. You do these because you're flattered and honored that someone bothered to ask you.
As a critic, I'd have to say, yes, it was overdone, excessive, sometimes corny, syrupy, almost always way too much as a critic. But as an American, that was just the way it was supposed to be. I call horror movies with George Hamilton terrific. Sometimes there really aren't words. Last night, Zubin Mehta, Itzhak Perlman, Placido Domingo, the New York Philharmonic. Tonight, Patti LaBelle, Liza Minnelli, the Four Tops. And in an amazing, incredible way, that's what liberty is. We work for it every day. Sometimes we have to fight for it. These past 4 days, we enjoyed it. Rolanda?
Thank you, Joel. We certainly have. Before the finale in Giant Stadium, there was a sports salute at the Brendan Byrne Arena that is also in the Meadowlands.
And some of the greatest of the sports stars were there, so was Eli Zaret. Let's go back to the Meadowlands and to the Byrne Arena. Eli?
That's right. The celebration of the salute took place in the Byrne Arena behind me. A lot of people standing behind me also. Very fast-paced hour with the bulk of the show featuring, well, the artistry of skating and gymnastics more so, as we honored those who entertain us in our spare hours with sports. It began with a cavalcade of the giants from the world of sports, from Ali and Aaron to Billie Jean and Mary Lou, who were then followed by performances from the greats of gymnastics and figure skating, with Scott Hamilton putting on a breathtaking routine that culminated with the world champion bathed in the colors of his country.
I'm looking at all these people in the front row, like Bobby Orr and Billie Jean King and all these people. I'm like, I got real scared. And then I saw that it was live TV, and I was real nervous, but I was really kind of happy. I popped one jump, but the rest of it felt better than I thought I could do it.
Since the Olympics, I guess we kind of created a lot of patriotism because of our performances in the games, and this is one way to relive it, and it was great for me to get together with my teammates. It was fantastic.
And now it's history. After a full year of preparation, the whole extravaganza lasted only an hour. Even for those whose finest moment could have been a little bit better, still, no regrets. Like Peggy Fleming, whose performance contained one unfortunate pratfall.
It's just one of those things. The falls happen to the best of us, and, you know, you had an example of it tonight, that I had a new number for this show, and working with a scarf.
The prop is what did it, right?
Well, it did a different number every time I skated, so it had a mind of its own, and, well, actually I do too.
And like Peggy's mind, America has a sports consciousness uniquely its own as we honor our athletes, pro and amateur, from figure skater to fighter. So the sports was a very special part of the weekend as we honor sports, a very special part of our lives. John, back to you.
Okay, Eli, thank you very much. Of course, we mustn't forget the object of all the festivities, the Statue of Liberty, which again today was, of course, the main attraction.
There was one sour note, though. As Vince Lipari tells us, today was the second day in a row that some disgruntled visitors had to be turned away from Liberty Island.
These were the last few lucky people to board the ferry to Liberty Island. Ticket sales were stopped at about 1 o'clock because there were too many visitors on the island. That left a lot of people disappointed.
Very disappointed.
So you came all the way from Ireland, and you're not going to be able to get on Liberty Island?
Well, maybe tomorrow. I'll try tomorrow, but looks like there's no chance today.
I think it's ridiculous, because all these people are here to see it, and nobody's going to get to go.
Earlier in the day, we had a chance to take the ferry ourselves for a visit with Lady Liberty. As we approached the majestic statue, there were those who applauded her. Once on the island, it was like a Shutterbugs convention with Lady Liberty being photographed from every possible angle.
I'm overwhelmed. This is gorgeous. I just can't. I'm speechless. It's just great. Just shock, disbelief. I mean, it's just utterness. You just don't know what to say.
There were some immigrants on the island and also some people who came from many different countries just to visit this shrine to freedom. You're from South Africa?
That's right.
Came here especially for Liberty Weekend?
Yes.
What are your feelings being an immigrant and seeing the Statue of Liberty?
It's overwhelmingly and very emotional, and I'm so glad to be here.
Okay. For a number of years, these people actually had Lady Liberty as their neighbor. They lived on the island along with other families connected with the U.S. Department of Interior, the caretaker of the statue.
My mother used to take me out in a little red wagon at night, cover me in a little blanket with a teddy bear and milk and cookies and ride me around. You were talking about how the statue was all lit up at night. It was just beautiful.
If you didn't get a chance to see the Statue of Liberty today, well, there's always tomorrow, or long after Liberty weekend. The Statue of Liberty will be open during the week between 9 and 6, with the last ferry leaving at 4. From Battery Park, Vince Lipari, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And there's so much more to come. Do stay with us. We will tell you or wrap up all the Liberty celebrations going on in Lower Manhattan tonight.
Also, we have a bird's eye view of everything that happened today. We'll get that from the McDonald's Eyewitness News blimp.
Tax-free municipal bonds. Where we stand. We believe the serious investor has but a few more months to take advantage of an historical rarity. Tax-free bonds paying almost the same rate as taxable bonds. So regardless of the new tax plan proposals, there is a categorical recommendation we can make. Buy. Shearson Lehman Brothers. Minds over money.
Liberty is an idea, handed down from generation to generation, people to people. America honors the Statue of Liberty centennial by minting United States Liberty coins, valuable keepsakes that treasure liberty always. U.S. Liberty coins, singly or in sets, at banks, savings and loans, and Kmart stores. Keep Liberty in mint condition forever.
There's something about a train. There's something about a train that's magic.
This summer, why not give the kids a real train ride? Amtrak's Auto Train is offering 40% off the regular adult and automobile fares to Florida. And for children under 12, 70% off.
All aboard America, all aboard Amtrak.
It's here. A fast start, quick response, and smooth performance.
Running smooth and silent, Exxon, Exxon.
Introducing new Exxon Extra Premium. Its high-octane power formula with detergent additive XCL12 cleans fuel injectors, helps silence knocks, and keeps you running smooth.
Running with the tiger, Exxon.
Well, there was still plenty to see and lots to do tonight in Lower Manhattan.
Someone who knows all about that is Garrett Glazer. He has spent his day and his night down there, and we go to him now. He's at the South Street Seaport. Garrett?
It's really terrific, and I know you've heard that a million times this weekend, but it's true. There were hundreds of thousands of people here over the weekend, but now, Sunday night late, there are still several thousand people here, many of them sailors, a lot of women down here too. The spirits have been flowing free all day, and I think the hormones have too. In any case, if you're a bargain hunter, this is Sunday night, 11 o'clock, a great place to be, because if you're looking for bargains, Liberty Weekend bargains are here. Anthony Paparomo from Sheepshead Bay has spent the weekend in a mobile home near the seaport. He's with his friends and family. The location gives him more time to sell the T-shirts, hats, and souvenirs that are tonight a relative bargain. How much is this T-shirt today?
We're giving them away for $5 today.
Now,
to
be
all
honest.
Liberty lovers.
Yesterday, how much was that T-shirt?
We were getting between 8 and 10 yesterday.
So you come in now tonight. If I come by, it's going to be cheaper.
Tonight, if you come by, just for you, sir, $6. No charge for you.
Paparomo says some of what's unsold will be donated to the NYPD's 61st Precinct Youth Council. The kids will enjoy it, he says. There were crowds everywhere through the day here. At times, it seemed hard to find a place to walk.
All right, all you immigrants, you're about to board a ship to America.
Waiting in line to board a tall ship was less boring because of entertainers like these from a show aboard one of the paddle wheelers docked here. Thousands toured the famous U.S. naval battleship Iowa. It was berthed today on the East River in downtown Brooklyn. The firepower aboard the Iowa is incredible. There are 9 16-inch guns. That means the diameter of the hull bored in the steel. Each one of those guns can fire a projectile that weighs 2,700 pounds. So big and heavy, they can pierce armor with no trouble. For Petty Officer Stephen Mason, the Iowa's visit to New York was a chance to come home.
I grew up here in the Bay Ridge area around 5th and Overton Avenue.
Back live at the South Street Seaport, and this is kind of special. What you've got here are sailors from different navies from around the world, and they're all partying together and drinking together and getting along together.
We talked with some police officers, undercover police officers, a little while ago, who tell us this has been an amazingly problem-free 4 days for them. Good spirits all around. Reporting live from the South Street Seaport in Manhattan, Garrett Glazer, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. John?
It has been a great 4 days, Garrett. Also, New York City's police officers have done a fantastic job taking care of everything the past 4 days. So many things going on in the area this weekend, it seems you needed a blimp to get around to see everything.
And enter Tappy Phillips. That's exactly what she used, and here's what she saw from that unique vantage point.
New Yorkers took advantage of another day of warm weather to soak in the sights of the holiday weekend. This was the first full day that Liberty Island was open to the public, and hundreds of people flocked to see the towering guest of honor at this 4-day celebration. Lower Manhattan was still closed to vehicle traffic, so visitors could stroll among the tented vendors. The South Street Seaport, where several of the tall ships were docked, was a popular spot, as was the battleship Iowa across the river in Brooklyn. Others chose to spend the day in New York Harbor on pleasure boats or at the beaches, catching those last few rays of sunshine so they could return to work tomorrow with a golden, long weekend tan. And as the sun started to fade, we could see streams of cars headed to the Meadowlands for the huge closing ceremonies of the Independence Day weekend.
So it was a beautiful day to end a spectacular 4th of July weekend, one that we New Yorkers and all the visitors to this city will remember for a long time. Aboard the McDonald's blimp, I'm Tappy Phillips, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Coming up next, the Liberty salute at the Mets game.
Plus, we have the Yankees and the men's champ at Wimbledon, Spencer Christian, with highlights when we come back.
We're NCI. To score points with you, we must choose our communications weapons carefully. That's why we compete with products like Prism, the ultimate concept in watts. For maximum flexibility as your monthly call patterns change. We know our competition's good. We know we have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI. Communications for the next 100 years.
Who says America has run out of opportunities? There are plenty out there, if you look for them. The people who built this country were doers, not doubters. Risk-takers, seeking opportunities, not guarantees. Today, I still see vast opportunities in hundreds of small to mid-sized companies whose entrepreneurial spirit and energy will continue to build America. At First Jersey Securities, we specialize in discovering such emerging growth companies for today's investors with vision. First Jersey Securities, come grow with us.
In man's never-ending quest to go faster, ever faster, there's a new way to breeze through meals. McDonald's new order-by-the-number system. Get your favorite sandwich with large fries and medium Coca-Cola Classic just by saying 1, McDLT, 2, Big Mac, 3, Quarter Pounder with cheese. McDonald's new ordering-by-the-number system. As easy as 1, 2, 3. For today's people on the go.
In the face of price hikes from every direction, welcome to the world introduction of the lowest-priced American car. At a low price of $54.99. This new entry comes with front-wheel drive, rally instrumentation, intermittent wipers, rear defogger, 4 doors, 550 protection, and 20 other standard features. Introducing the '87 Dodge Omni America. At $54.99, it's a real American value. Dodge Omni America. See it at your Dodge dealer today.
Baskin-Robbins just reinvented ice cream. Chocolate raspberry truffle. Almond amaretto. Our new international creams.
Sports now with Spencer Christian.
All right, John, the Mets certainly had a nice holiday weekend. They took 3 out of 4 games from the Astros. Mets have now won 9 of their last 10, and with today's 5-3 victory over Houston, Sid Fernandez became the National League's first 11-game winner of the season. As Secretary of the Navy, John Lehman threw out the first ball today at Shea, as some 3,000 sailors from 13 countries were on hand. They, of course, part of the big Liberty celebration, and they saw why the Mets have the best record in baseball. Here's one reason why. Rookie sensation Kevin Mitchell blasting his 5th home run of the year here in the 3rd inning, a solo shot. Howard Johnson added a 2-run blast later in the 7th inning. Meanwhile, El Cid allowed just 1 run and 6 hits. over 6 2/3 innings while improving his record to 11-2, the league's first 11-game winner. Mets win it 5-3. Elsewhere in the National League, the Expos remained 11.5 games behind the Mets as they outslugged the Braves 11-8 despite 4 home runs by Atlanta's Bob Horner. Phillies routed the Reds 12-5. Padres edged the Cubs 2-1. Steve Carlton knocked out of the game in the 4th inning, but the Giants went on to beat the Cards 8-3. Dodgers got by the Pirates 4-3. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Dave Winfield showed signs of breaking out of his slump as he went 2 for 4, including a 2-run home run, but the Yankees still lost to the White Sox 5-2. Here's Winfield up in the top of the first, takes one deep to left field, upper deck job with a man aboard, 2-0 Yankees, Winfield's 13th home run of the season. But the White Sox bounce right back in the 2nd inning. John Cangelosi at bat. Doug Drabeck unloads a wild pitch, gets by Butch Weiniger. The tying run scores, and then moments later, Cangelosi still up. He connects on this Drabeck pitch, bloops one into left field for an RBI single. 3-2 White Sox. They go on to beat the Yanks 5-2. And that loss drops the Yanks to 8 games back of Boston as the Red Sox beat Seattle 7-3 today. Tom Seaver picked up his 2nd win since joining the Red Sox. Ken Dixon and Don Ossie combined on a 3-hitter as Baltimore blanked Minnesota. Angels rocked the Blue Jays 8-2. Cleveland won its 7th straight game, 5-0 over Kansas City. So the Indians now move into 2nd place in the AL East, just percentage points ahead of the Yankees. The A's beat the Brewers 6-3 and Detroit down Texas 5-2. And in tennis, 18-year-old Boris Becker won his 2nd straight Wimbledon title today with a stunning straight sets victory over top-seeded Yvonne Lindell. The young German sensation appeared calm and relaxed throughout the 2-hour, 2-minute match, but his serve made lots of noise. He began the match with this service ace, the first of 15 on the day for Becker. And with British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher looking on, Becker showed his championship form. Watch this, Becker diving to the ground to make this shot after the ball hit the net and fell in. Somehow he managed to return it for a winner. Here it is again in slow motion, and an unbelievable shot by Becker, who goes on to stun Lindell in straight sets 6-4, 6-3, 7-5. Becker's 2nd straight Wimbledon title. And at 11:45, got to change these lips in. We'll be back with a sports special. Join us then.
But first, we'll be back with Dr. Bill Gutsch and the weather forecast.
And we will tell you about the Liberty to Liberty Triathlon from the statue to the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Stay with us.
Confrontations with the unpredictable, BMW introduces the 535i. With an amazingly agile suspension, a computer-controlled engine that constantly adjusts to changing driving conditions, and an ingenious anti-lock braking system. The 535i, it lets those who take driving seriously peacefully coexist with those who don't. For a test drive, contact your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut BMW dealers.
Won't stop ringing.
Tuesday. When it touches my face, it hangs up.
Aww. I don't have a problem. You got a problem.
Lots of people with phones not made by AT&T are registering some kind of complaint. When was the last time you had a complaint with an AT&T phone?
Hello? What? Can you call me back on an AT&T phone?
You get what you pay for. AT&T, the right choice.
98 degrees did not stop the men and women today who ran in the Liberty to Liberty Triathlon. 450 triathletes converged on Liberty Island to begin the first leg of the race. They jumped into the Hudson River for a 1.5-mile swim through jellyfish and floating debris to Jersey City. Sounds like fun. Took most swimmers about half an hour, then out of the water, a quick towel dry, and off to bicycles. 100 miles to Philadelphia, then a 5-mile run through the city to Liberty Bell. The winner, Steve Fitch of Westchester, Pennsylvania. His time, just less than 5 hours and 54 minutes. What a day.
My goodness, 98-degree weather. A little trivia for you. It has not been this hot in this area in 75 years.
That's right, yeah. Yes, that's right, 1911.
Is it getting better?
No, it really isn't. Tomorrow, the record is again 98, and we could easily tie it or even top it. Another scorcher coming up. And as we go through the week, it's going to get a little bit drier and a little bit cooler, but it'll be Wednesday probably before you feel any significant relief. So in the forecast for tonight, warm and downright humid. Lows mostly in the 70s. Along the coast, you may see some 60s. Tomorrow, just like today, hazy sunshine, hot and humid with most highs in the 90s. It'll be a little cooler probably along the Connecticut coast, and that's about it. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, 75 for a low in the city. Again, the northwest suburbs may see the 60s. And on Tuesday, you may feel a little less humid by afternoon, but it'll still be hot with most folks seeing the 90s. Wednesday into Thursday, it should get a bit more comfortable as this first heat wave of the summer continues.
Thank you, Bill.
Can you believe some people left New York for Liberty Weekend? They've come back. We'll tell you about it.
And we'll take a look at, well, what are now memories of the past 4 days. Do stay with us.
Get a dozen Pathmark large white eggs, 49 cents with a coupon from Sunday's newspaper.
We're #1 because you get fresh with us. Pathmark #1.
Today's automotive world is filled with compromise. To get luxury and performance, you have to sacrifice value. Nissan disagrees. Witness the luxurious 1987 Maxima. Its heart and soul is the fuel-injected overhead cam V6 from our legendary C car. The 1987 Maxima, a powerful rebuttal to the notion of compromise. The name is Nissan, America's #1 selling import car.
Lipton's been around longer, but times change. 4C is growing faster in popularity than any other brand. 4C Iced Tea.
Now that most of the tourists have left, New Yorkers can have their city back. At Penn Station tonight, New Yorkers were returning from many vacations out of town. Now, people we talked to said they were happy to have been someplace else for Liberty Weekend.
I thought it was going to be pretty hectic and it was going to be pretty hot, and I figured if I was in a nice place where I can enjoy everything, I can view it from TV.
I knew a lot of people would be coming to the city, and I thought it would be a good chance for me to duck out and give up my space.
Sat in the sun and did nothing but read. Avoided all the festivities for the holiday.
I saw it in 1976 on the bicentennial, and I thought it was enough.
I was afraid it was going to be horrible, and I wanted to get out of it. I was here for Brooklyn Bridge, and I felt that that was enough. I'd done my part.
Now, I'm glad they had great vacations, but I think they missed one great show. It was wonderful.
It sure was. That's it for tonight. We hope you enjoyed your Liberty Weekend, wherever you spent it. We certainly enjoyed covering all the celebrations for you. Thanks for being with us.
Good night.
Next time you want nothing to drink, ask for it.
Non-alcoholic imported Moosey.
When friends drop by, I give them nothing to drink.
Non-alcoholic imported Moosey.
What have you got to drink? Nothing.
Oh, thank goodness. Non-alcoholic imported Moosey. All the taste of a great import and nothing else.
Nothing ever tasted so good.
I believe that liberty means many things to many people, and I believe that's the way it should be. Because liberty, above all, means the freedom to see things your own way and to express what you see without fear. Only when the eyes are free to see and the hand free to follow the eye can the glory that is life be passed between the hearts of free people.
In the U.S. Senate, New York State needs real leadership on jobs, and our people need results. John Dyson gets results. As Commerce Commissioner, Dyson took a state with severe job losses and turned things around. Hundreds of companies stayed or expanded, and the city and suburbs gained almost 200,000 new jobs.
John Dyson is a leader.
John Dyson kept us in New York.
Dyson for Senate, determined to make New York State #1, and doing it.
It's Winterkill, tonight at midnight on Channel 7. From ABC News, The Weekend Report, here's Jean Meserve.
Good evening. A political challenge to President Corazon Aquino appears to be on its last legs this Monday morning in the Philippines. Ferdinand Marcos' running mate Arturo Tolentino remains holed up in the Manila hotel he seized on Sunday before having himself sworn in as acting president. But his support appears to be dissipating. Mark Litke has the latest.
Heavily armed soldiers and Marcos loyalists are still in complete control of the plush Manila hotel, but support for self-declared acting president Arturo Tolentino is clearly fading. Reportedly, more than half the soldiers who joined Tolentino earlier have now turned themselves in. The government has ordered all staff removed from the hotel, so there are no services here. And the armed forces have set up a security cordon, closing off roads into the hotel area. Tolentino, who appeared all smiles earlier, flushed with a sense of victory, appears to be dejected today, saying the only reason support is fading is that the military is stopping his supporters from reaching him. But that doesn't appear to be the case. The supporters just aren't there. President Aquino has just returned to the capital from Mindanao to reimpose her authority. She has threatened to charge Tolentino with sedition. She has already received assurances of support from her defense minister, Juan Ponce-Enrile, who helped her overthrow the Marcos government.
Because there's only one government in this country, and that's the government of Cory Aquino.
The Marcos loyalists had apparently hoped to inspire people to take to the streets and rally around them, like the February revolution that brought Aquino to power. It has not happened at all. But the loyalists have demonstrated again their capacity to create embarrassing trouble for Aquino. And even this event will remain dangerous until Tolentino gives up and the siege is ended. Mark Litke, ABC News, Manila.
Here in Washington today, the Reagan administration affirmed its backing of Corazon Aquino. The United States strongly supports the government of President Aquino, said a State Department spokesman, and is against efforts such as these to undermine it.
Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son.
Willie and Wrangler. A legend in jeans.
I'll be gone 500 miles.
Made in the USA.
Is done.
This sign means $10 million. It's coming your way, and it could make you one very, very, very rich person. It's the Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes. All of that $10 million will go to only one person. So if you want to be that one very, very, very rich person, enter the Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes now. You could be our first $10 million winner.
There's no place like our house.
When they first came here, they had a dream. And the Prudential insured that dream when no one else would. So their children and their children's children could share in it too. Today, the world has changed. Now the Prudential offers more financial services so your children can share that dream too. The Prudential salutes the statue on her 100th birthday.
The fitness crisis among our nation's youth. Kids so out of shape they're coming down with diseases only adults used to get. Monday, watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
2 Australians were hanged at dawn Monday in Malaysia for possession of heroin. They were the first Westerners executed under Malaysia's tough anti-drug laws. Prime Ministers Bob Hawke of Australia and Margaret Thatcher of Britain had both appealed to the Malaysian government to spare the 2 men. More than 3/4 of the cocaine reaching the United States comes through one country, Colombia. And drug trafficking has become a major internal and international problem for that country's government. Wrapping up his trip to Colombia, Pope John Paul II attacked the subject head-on. David Ensor reports.
Pope John Paul attacked drugs and drug trafficking tonight in Cartagena, a port city in Colombia, the world's largest exporter of cocaine. Drug dealers are traffickers in freedom, he said, who enslaved their brothers worse than slave dealers did. Cartagena was the heart of the slave trade in Colombia. Tonight, descendants of slaves greeted him. He came to Cartagena, one of the last stops of his 12-city visit to Colombia, after a quick look at Armero, a victim of one of this century's worst natural disasters, a volcanic mudslide. All that is left of a once bustling town is a dusty, sun-baked mudflat dotted with crosses. 23,000 people died. In a brief ceremony, John Paul asked God to console the pain of so many families, dry the tears of brothers, protect the orphans. A bugle played as the Pope meditated before a large concrete cross erected where once there was a church. It was all over in less than 15 minutes. With the volcano threatening to erupt again, the authorities insisted on that, and many people were turned away to keep the crowd small. One who did come, Luis Sanchez, lost his wife, son, nephew, and daughter-in-law. It's very hard to stand in this place, he said, knowing the bodies of friends and relations may be below. Many others stayed away because their old town is now a graveyard, offering only painful memories. David Ensor, ABC News, with the Pope in Colombia.
Mexicans went to the polls today in local elections with an unusual prospect. In Mexico's largest state, the ruling party might lose a major election for the first time in more than half a century. But before the polls had even closed, the opposition was crying foul. John Quinones reports.
The people of Chihuahua, Mexico streamed to the polls en masse today to elect state representatives, local mayors, and a new governor. It was seen as a strong test of democracy in Mexico. With their paper ballots, voters threatened to topple a dynasty. The opposition National Action Party, or PAN, challenged the Institutional Revolutionary Party, or PRI, which has governed Mexico for 57 years and has never lost a major election. With hundreds of military troops on guard, the government promised a fair election. But early in the voting, there was evidence of irregularities. People complained their names were missing from voting lists. The PAN accused the government of fraud.
We are at a crossroads. If they steal Chihuahua, and the people let them steal Chihuahua, that's a goodbye for democracy in Mexico.
The opposition claims the government destroyed PAN votes and stuffed ballot boxes with votes for the PRI. Government officials deny the charge, but the opposition claims the election was rigged. In protest of what is now perceived to be a fraudulent election, street demonstrations are planned, and protesters have threatened to block traffic at several of these border crossings to the U.S. With the opposition vowing it will not accept defeat, it's a political standoff in Chihuahua. The election results will not be official for a week. John Quinones, ABC News, Ciudad Juarez, Mexico.
About halfway through the vote count in today's Japanese elections, the ruling Liberal Democratic Party appears to have won the day. It's projected that the party of Prime Minister Yasuhiro Nakasone will win enough seats for sole control of the parliament. The victory appears to be a landslide, but it is questionable whether it will be enough for Nakasone to push through a change in party rules to allow him a third term as Prime Minister. Somewhere in the world, sometime tomorrow, a milestone will be reached. The Population Institute estimates the world's 5 billionth human inhabitant will be born somewhere on the globe Monday. Noting that the world's population has more than tripled in the past century, the Institute believes that 5 billion probably puts the world population about at its carrying capacity, at more than a subsistence level of life.
Times change, but golf is still a great game. The USGA has kept it that way, and they'll continue with our help. Join me as a USGA associate. You'll get a bag tag, the rules of golf, a year of golf journal, and a tax deduction for only $25. Let's keep golf great as USGA associates.
Laser tag. The games begin in August.
There's a party going on right here. Wendy's crispy nuggets, they're new and here this year. So bring your good friends and your family too. Wendy's got crispy chicken nuggets for you. Come on now. Crispy nuggets. Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
Come celebrate new crispy chicken nuggets at Wendy's.
The Wimbledon winners join our Tracy Austin Monday on Good Morning America.
At Wimbledon today, 18-year-old Boris Becker upset top-seeded Yvonne Lendl to win the men's singles championship for the second straight year. The final game featured a series of diving shots by Becker, who fought a fierce cross-court backhand volley while lying on the ground.
He's got it! Oh, my!
Becker took Lendl in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3, 7-5. Red, white, and blue were once again the colors of the day as the nation wrapped up its extended 4th of July celebration. The scene tonight was the Meadowlands. The celebrants were some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment, and the honoree was the statue that stands as sentinel and symbol in New York Harbor. John McKenzie reports.
The final night of Liberty Weekend began with a final salute. This time, athletes took center stage. People who brought glory to this country and to themselves tonight honored Lady Liberty and what she represents. Athletes who won medals for America at the Los Angeles Olympics, and those who brought back the gold from abroad. With 90-degree temperatures in New York, however, there was no home ice advantage. But if there was anything to get people on their feet tonight, it was just next door, and the closing ceremonies, the grand finale. There in Giant Stadium in New Jersey, in front of more than 50,000 spectators, it was the biggest bash of them all. Televised throughout North America and into South America and all the way to China, Americans tonight showed their colors. All told, there were more than 5,000 performers here, most performing for free, and all in honor of Lady Liberty.
You are so beautiful.
The man who headed the fundraising drive to restore this statue, Lee Iacocca, tonight remembered the men and women who did the job.
In this case, it was 700 men and women, American and French, who did the actual restoration work on the statue.
Tonight's extravaganza had 3 themes: remember, rejoice, renew. They look back here with 200 Elvis lookalikes, well, sort of, and 300 jazzercise ladies. This was a rollicking tribute to rock and roll.
Are you ready?
Even the audience was part of this performance.
1, 2, 3.
After 4 days of festivities, each event more spectacular than the next, the curtain finally came down tonight. It began with Americans rebuilding a statue. It ended with the country renewing its spirit. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
And that's the late news this Sunday night. Steve Bell and Kathleen Sullivan will have tomorrow's first news on World News This Morning, followed by Good Morning America. I'm Jean Meserve. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
From Washington, this has been the Weekend Report. Monday
Monday, watch World News Tonight with Peter Jennings for a complete look at the day's top stories. The Weekend Report is a presentation of ABC News.
Boston sensation Roger Clemens is already setting Major League records.
A new record! Clemens has set a Major League record for strikeouts in a game. 20.
He's scheduled to start as the Red Sox face Oakland, or the New York Yankees take on Texas on ABC's Monday Night Baseball.
Hello again and welcome to the Sports Special. And even with all the pageantry of the Liberty celebration, this was still a pretty special weekend in sports. The Mets continued to run away from the rest of the National League East with rookie sensation Kevin Mitchell continuing to play like an all-star. Muhammad Ali was just one of the many stars at the Meadowlands Liberty Salute, and Eli Zarek will have more on that. And Becker didn't Boris at Wimbledon. We'll have all this and more next on the Eyewitness Sports Special.
Let's go back.
The General Motors Mark of Excellence and WABC-TV present the best of the class of '86.
A yearbook full of memories, a time to share with friends, a hug that says we'll keep in touch, 'cause friendship never ends. The autographs, a cap and gown, the honors that you've earned, a future that looks bright because of everything you learned. Of the class this year, you're the best of the class this year.
General Motors supports the pursuit of excellence everywhere and joins Channel 7 saluting those in the class of '86 who have achieved it.
It's Winter Kill tonight at midnight on Channel 7.
Well, we're 1 week away from the All-Star break. Still a lot of baseball left, but barring a serious collapse, it looks like the Mets are going to coast to the National League East title. Mets have the best one-loss record in baseball at 55-22. They hold an 11.5 game lead over the second-place Expos, and they have 4 potential 20-game winners in their starting pitching rotation. Today, Sid Fernandez took the mound and became the National League's first 11-game winner as the Mets beat the Houston Astros 5-3. Navy Secretary John Lehman was on hand to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at Shea Stadium today as some 3,000 sailors were in town for the 4th of July festivities in the stands. And the Mets showed why they have the best record in baseball. Bottom of the third here, Kevin Mitchell. The rookie rockets a blast deep to left field, solo home run for Mitchell. That puts the Mets ahead 3-zip. Then in the 7th inning, Howard Johnson, getting a rare opportunity to start at third base, delivers this 2-run shot to left. Johnson's 4th home run of the year, his first batting right-handed. Mets lead it 5-1. And El Cid picks up the win. His 11th of the year against only 2 defeats. Mets win 5-3. El Cid becomes the National League's first 11-game winner. But despite the Mets' torrid start in the National League East, Montreal Expos are doing their best to make this a pennant race. They have the 3rd best record in baseball, and today the Expos beat the Braves 11-8 in Atlanta. But the star of this game was Atlanta's Bob Horner, who became only the 11th player ever to hit 4 home runs in a game. This blast second inning was one of 3 solo shots by Horner. He also had a 3-run shot. The last man to hit 4 home runs in a game was Mike Schmidt of the Phillies in 1976. In a 10-inning contest. Big day for Horner, but the Braves lose it 11-8. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, the Cardinals spoiled the debut of Steve Carlton with the Giants. 3rd inning action here. Willie McGee lines a single to right field off Carlton. It gets by Chili Davis. McGee ends up with a single and a 2-base error. Carlton bows out in the 4th, with the Cardinals leading the Giants 3-0. But the Giants come back to win it with 6 runs in the 8th inning. A suicide squeeze here by Scott Garrelt scores Chili Davis. Carlton escapes without a loss as the Giants win it 8-3. They lead the National League West by a game and a half over the Houston Astros. Over in the American League, Dave Winfield broke out of his slump today in Chicago. Winfield went 2 for 4, including a 2-run home run, but the Yankees still lost their game with the White Sox 5-2. Here it is, top of the 1st. Winfield comes up. Boy, he needs a big hit to break him out of his slump, and he gets one right here. A 2-run home run, deep to left, upper deck job.
Yankees lead it 2-0, but the Sox come back in the bottom of the second. Doug Drabeck uncorks a wild pitch here, gets by the catcher. Butch Weiniger, tying run, scores as 2-2. Then, moments later, Drabeck delivers to John Cangelosi, who bloops a single into left field. White Sox score the go-ahead run. They go on to beat the Yankees 5-2. And that loss drops the Yankees to 8 games behind the Boston Red Sox in the American League East, as the Red Sox won their game today with the Seattle Mariners 7-3. Red Sox the winner. Tom Seaver picked up his second win with the Red Sox as he allowed only 4 hits over 7 innings pitched. Let's get to the highlights right here. You'll see Seaver struck out 5 batters today. Here you'll see him fanning Phil Bradley on a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. Strike 3, he's gone. Most bizarre play of the game occurred in the first inning. Dave Stapleton strikes out, but the ball gets by the catcher. Stapleton goes to first, but he's called out on the play. But Red Sox say that Phelps' foot came off the bag. They appeal to the home plate umpire, who agrees with them and overrules the first base umpire. That brings Seattle manager Dick Williams charging out of the dugout. He can't believe it. The argument is on, but Williams loses the argument and the game as the White Sox coast to a 7-3 victory. Now back to the Yankees for just a moment. Not only did the Yanks lose a game in the standings, but they fell into third place.